Okay, so if you've just lost your job, or maybe you can feel that axe hanging right over your head, this is for you. We're going to talk about how to deal with that paralyzing uncertainty, and not with a bunch of empty platitudes, but with a playbook that's, get this, literally thousands of years old. All right, let's jump right in.
You know those questions, why me? What's next? They're probably just on a loop in your head right now, right? That whole spiral of dread, the confusion, just the sheer weight of figuring out what to do next. It's a lot. And that heavy, immobilizing feeling, totally normal. You are so not alone in this. But here's what's so wild. That exact feeling, that paralysis, is the starting point for one of the world's most enduring texts on how to take action, the Bhagavad Gita. I mean, it literally kicks off with a warrior, Arjuna, completely frozen on a battlefield, unable to fight. His crisis is our crisis. And look, this isn't about religion. For our purposes, think of it as a super practical guide for making huge decisions when you feel totally, utterly stuck.
Okay, so here's our battle plan. First, we'll frame the challenge. Then, we'll walk through 3 core principles from the Gita, and we're going to land on a really concrete 10-day action plan. This is your playbook. It's how we're going to move you from paralysis back to purpose.
So, like I said, for what we're doing here, don't think of the Gita as a holy book. Think of it as a mentor, a coach even. It's this incredible conversation that meets you exactly where you are right now, in that pit of anxiety and doubt, and it just offers a really clear path forward. It's not promising comfort, by the way. It's promising clarity. And right now, clarity is everything. All right, let's dive into our first core principle. And this is a big one. It's all about learning to own your effort and radically letting go of your attachment to the results.
This line right here, it's probably the most famous one in the whole Gita, and for a really good reason. It's a huge shift in how you see things. It's not saying the results don't matter. Of course you need a job. What it is saying is that your focus, your energy, has to be on the action itself. Why? Because that's the only part of this whole equation you actually truly control.
So, here's the bottom line. Worrying about a hiring freeze or a recruiter who totally ghosts you, that's just wasted energy. You can't do a thing about it. But what you can control is how well you polish up that resume, right? How many thoughtful messages you send out. The hour you spend leveling up a new skill. That is where all your power is. And listen, this isn't just some nice theory. This principle has been field-tested under the most insane pressure you can imagine. Gandhi, he used this very idea to guide the entire Indian independence movement. Think about that. He focused on disciplined, daily action without getting completely paralyzed by the enormous goal he was aiming for. Okay, so here's how you can actually put this into practice, like today. We're going to create something called a karma quota. Just set a small daily goal for stuff you control. Say, 2 targeted applications, 1 networking message. And here's the key. You track only the action. You celebrate that you did it, not whether you got a reply. It's kind of funny, because the paradox is, when you really, truly focus on the process, the results have a way of taking care of themselves. All right, principle number 2. And this one builds directly on what we just talked about. It's all about mastering your inner state. The Gita calls it equanimity, but I think a better modern term might be something like emotional anti-fragility. And the most important thing to get here is that this is a skill you build. It's not some personality trait you're either born with or not. So this idea of being the same in success and failure, it doesn't mean you turn into a robot. It doesn't mean a rejection email isn't going to sting. Of course it will. What it means is you don't let the highs make you cocky, and you don't let the lows make you want to quit. You maintain this steady center. And that allows you to take the next right action no matter what the emotional weather is doing.
This surgeon analogy is perfect for this. A surgeon feels unbelievable pressure during a critical operation, but they've trained their nervous system to perform despite that pressure. They have to act with precision when the stakes are literally life or death. And your career search right now, it requires that exact same kind of steady hand.
I mean, just think about this for a second. J. Robert Oppenheimer, the guy who created the atomic bomb, he turned to the Gita. Why? To find a perspective, a frame that was big enough to hold the unbelievable moral weight of what he was doing. It gave him a framework beyond the immediate chaos, which is exactly what we all need when it feels like our own little world is collapsing.
So how do you actually build this muscle? Try this super simple daily practice. Before a stressful interview or a tough phone call, just do 1 slow breath. In for 4 counts, out for 6. Then state your intention for that meeting in a single sentence, just 1. And at the end of the day, write down 1 thing you controlled and 1 thing that was just noise. That's it. That simple act of separating those 2 things,
That's what builds the muscle over time.
Okay, this brings us to our third and final principle. This is all about stepping up when all the external support systems just fall away. It's time to become your own leader.
I just love how direct this is. It's not a suggestion, it's a command. Lift yourself up. No one else is coming to do it for you. And that same mind that's whispering that you're not good enough, that's the only tool you have to get back on your feet. So you have to decide right now which voice you're going to listen to.
Look, when you lose a job, you don't just lose a paycheck. You lose your manager, your team meetings, your daily rhythm, all of it. That whole external structure just vanishes. And suddenly you're the CEO of You Incorporated, and your mind, it can either be your greatest ally, a brilliant strategic partner, or it can be your worst saboteur trying to sink the entire ship from the inside.
So your first job as CEO is to create your own structure. And let me be clear, this is not about grinding for 8 hours a day. It's about building momentum. Just dedicate 30 minutes. That's it, 30 minutes a day to something that makes you more hireable. Ship something small, a finished line of code, a new paragraph for your portfolio, whatever. Then share one useful thing you learned. Put it on LinkedIn or whatever. This isn't for getting likes, it's to prove to yourself that you are still moving forward.
Okay, we've covered the big ideas, the philosophy. Now let's get super practical. This is how you can put all of this into action, starting today, for the next 10 days.
We're calling this the 10-Day Gita Reset, and it's a journey broken down into manageable steps. Days 1 and 2, you just accept reality and make a financial plan. Get grounded. Days 3 and 4, you define what's important to you, your dharma, and set up that daily karma quota we talked about. Then for a few days, you do a focused sprint on a key skill. After that, you start networking, but with that sense of equanimity, that calm mind. And on day 10, you just take a breath, recenter, and figure out the next right action. It's a clear, manageable path to get you moving again.
And I really want to leave you with this one thought. If you are going through this right now, you are not failing. You're not behind schedule. You are exactly where the curriculum begins. Remember, the Gita starts on a battlefield with a hero who is lost, confused, and totally afraid. And the whole book is about walking him from that point toward clarity and purposeful action. That journey is now yours.